Hi everyone, Emily here, and today I have a book haul. So I have not filmed or posted in a little bit because I have been sick. Um, so last week around Monday, I started this lovely trend of getting about 3 hours of sleep every single night, not being able to sleep. And it just kind of hit hard Friday. And Saturday, I ended up at prompt care because I had a migraine, I had stuffy nose, I had a dry cough, I had a raging sore throat, and I said, oh dear. So I took myself to prompt care, negative for COVID, negative for flu, but I still have a good cough, still have a decent sore throat. So you might catch me pausing and coughing. I have asthma, so I have to take some extra little precautions, which is why I went to prompt care, just knowing those are symptoms of COVID. I had my 28th COVID test, 28 negatives so far. So yeah, fun times. At any rate, I have a book haul. Some of this book haul I was able to get because I did an unhaul and I went to used bookstore. And the first two books I'm going to talk about are actually library books that I picked up. So first is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. And I just have heard so much about this book on BookTube. So when I saw it at my library, I had to snag it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start taking this with some books with me to work and start reading at my lunchtime. I think I just need to do that as opposed to doom scrolling on Facebook. I really don't know too much about this other than I know that there is a dog made out of bones. So here's what the front jacket cover says. It says, Mara never wanted to be a hero. As a shy, convent-raised third-born daughter, she escaped the traditional fate of princesses to be married away for the sake of an uncaring throne. But her sister wasn't so fortunate, and after years of silence, Mara is done watching her suffer at the hands of a powerful and abusive prince. Seeking help for her rescue mission, Mara is offered the tools she needs, but only if she can complete 3 seemingly impossible tasks. Build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, capture moonlight in a jar. And so like I said, I don't know. That's all that I know about it. It's short for a fantasy book. It is only 239 pages, so that's short. But I've heard so many positive reviews of this on BookTube. So when I saw it at the library, I had to snatch it. And then I went today and checked out Us Against You by Fredrik Backman. This is book 2 in the Beartown trilogy. So I read Beartown at the beginning of this month, and I was not expecting to like it because I typically don't like overhyped books, and I did not like Anxious People. I DNF'd Anxious People by about page 20 because I just thought it was so condescending. But I enjoyed Beartown, even though I felt like there were times where he was kind of beating us over the head with the points that he was trying to make, when I wanted it to be more shown versus telling us on these points and not beating us over the head. But I want to know more about what happens to the characters. So I picked up book 2. I'm not going to go into an extensive discussion because it's going to be so much spoilers. But I'm looking forward to continuing on. I still am hesitant. I don't know if I'll read Winners. I like to complete series typically, but I'm also at that point in my life where I'm like, there's so many books and life is fleeting. So if I don't care for this much, I know I'm not going to continue on with the Winners. All right, then the next 4 books I bought at Half Price Books. I took a bag of books in an unhaul. I filmed that unhaul. I just have to post it. But I took a bag of books to Half Price Books, got $25. And so the next 4 books I'm going to show, I actually only ended up spending $7. So the first book I found was The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I know this is one of Murphy Napier's favorite books, and it was like in brand new condition. Now, here's the thing. So when I was looking around, I first saw The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, which again, looks brand new. And I paid the half price books thing. So I saw The Republic of Thieves and I realized it's book 3. And I was like, nope, I can't get this until I can find Lies of Locke Lamora. Well, I looked through all my usual spots in the store, and then I said, let me go back to the science fiction fantasy section and just double check it. And I saw this. So this wasn't out before, or I just somehow missed it. But this is, from all I really know, it's a heist. And just based on the cover, it looks like it's set in like a Venice-inspired setting. But that's really all I know, is that it's a heist. I do know he is coming out with a set of novellas. I do know that this is an incomplete series. I'm okay with that because I just heard so many good things about Lies of Locke Lamora. And I do know I need to get the second book now. But I did pick up Lies of Locke Lamora and The Republic of Thieves. That cover to The Republic of Thieves is so gorgeous. So I'm really hoping that I like these books because the books are just so super nice looking. And then I found by Tamora Pierce, Trickster's Queen, which I have Trickster's Choice. And I've read Trickster's Choice and Trickster's Queen years ago, but I want to reread them. And I love Tamora Pierce. So all I know, and I'm not going to go into what this book is, because again, it's book 2 of the duology. But in Trickster's Choice, it's years later, Alana has a child named Allie. And she is, from what I understand, she is not following her mother's footsteps. She's going to follow her father's footsteps. And she's a spy for the realm. And in her assignment as a spy, she actually ends up getting captured and becomes a slave and has to kind of work her spy assignment and try to figure out how to get out of that. That's really all I know. That's the premise of book 1, and book 2 just kind of continues the story. And then I found, and I've been looking for this book for a while too, and I just have been very hesitant about buying it for some strange reason. I don't know. And then I finally saw it, and it was in hardback, and it looked in brand new condition. So I got Tempests and Slaughter by Tamora Pierce, and this is the backstory to Numair. And Numair is a mage, and he makes an appearance in the Immortals series. So the first book starts with, oh gosh, now I can't remember what the first book is of the Immortals series. Now I got to look it up. Wild Magic, okay? So, and really he is first known as Aram Draper. And Aram Draper becomes Numair. And we learn in the Immortals that he has to do that in order to protect himself because he's got so many people coming after him. But this story is his backstory when he was known as Aram Draper, and he was a student learning to become a mage, and he actually ends up becoming the most powerful mage in Tortall. And so this is just his backstory and the story of he's got 2 friends in Emperor or in Mage School, and we actually meet those characters in the Immortals as well. So I'm curious to know more about it. I have a little soft spot in my heart for Numair. So that was what I picked up at Half Price Books. Then the next stack is going to be what I found at my library book sale. So I found The Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker. And I found book 2 in The Prince of Nothing, which is The Warrior Prophet. And I found book 3, The Thousandfold Thought, in the Prince of Nothing trilogy. And from what I understand, now I found this for $2, folks. And when I posted this in a Discord of like, hey, this is what I found, like a picture of this, someone was like, man, those hardbacks are really hard to find. So I told that person, like, look, if I don't connect and I don't jive with the series, I'm passing this book on to her. And the reason why is I have found, like, someone gave me 2 hardbacks in the Expanse series, 2 brand new hardbacks for free. And so I want to make sure that I'm able to pass that on to somebody else. I know Joanna on her channel, she really liked this and really, this was in one of her top 10 favorites of 2022. So when I saw this, that's why I grabbed them. I do know there's a whole ton of trigger warnings. So that's why I'm not quite sure if I'll 100% connect with this. But this is the first one. It's a world scarred by an apocalyptic past, evoking a time both 2,000 years past and 2,000 years into the future, as untold thousands gather for a crusade. Traveling among them, 2 men and 2 women are ensnared by a mysterious traveler. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. Anasurimbor Kellis, part warrior, part philosopher, part sorceress. Charismatic presence from lands long thought dead. The darkness that comes before is a history of this great holy war. Like all histories, the survivors writes its conclusion. So like I said, I'm intrigued to see if I connect with this, and we'll see. And then I also found at my library book sale, The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. And I read, shiny cover there, The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. So I read The Clockmaker's Daughter this year, in 2022. And it was my first Kate Morton book, and I really liked it. I've heard really good things about this. I've heard people talk about this on What Should I Read Next, on some back episodes of that. And this book is about a girl. She's on a ship, and she's abandoned on a ship headed towards Australia in 1913. And she gets there with just a small suitcase and some clothes and a book, which is a volume of fairy tales. And she's taken in by the dock master and his wife and raised as her own. And then on her 21st birthday, she's told the truth about her upbringing. And so Nell goes to England to try to figure out her story and her identity. And her quest leads her to Blackhurst Manor on the Cornish coast and the secrets of the doomed Montracket family. But it's not until her granddaughter, Cassandra, takes up the search after Nell's death that all the pieces of the puzzle are assembled. At Cliff Cottage on the grounds of Blackhurst Manor, Cassandra discovers the forgotten garden of the book's title and is able to unlock the secrets of the beautiful book of fairy tales. And then it's got these end pictures that are just beautiful. So I am excited. I heard really good things about this book and also The House at Riverton. So at some point, I need to read those. And then I went to Goodwill today. I shouldn't have gone. But I found, and this looks brand new, for like $1, almost $2, a Kristen Hanna book, which is True Colors. And from what I understand, this is the story of 3 sisters, and they live on a horse ranch. And one kind of never feels at home on this horse ranch. She's a small town attorney and just kind of is a bookworm, doesn't quite fit in, never doesn't have the qualities that her father wants. Then the middle sister is kind of like the peacemaker, and then Vivian is, I think, the youngest, and she is married, And then there's a crime that's committed, and her husband, Vivian's husband, is accused of that crime. And so that kind of divides the family, from what I understand. I've heard good things about Krista Hanna's writing. I have The Nightingale. I need to start reading her. But again, it looks brand new and it was dirt cheap, so I went and got it. And then I found The Birchback House by Louise Erdrich. Erdrich, I think is how you pronounce her name. But this is a National Book Award finalist, and this won an award, a Women's Writing the West Award. It's a YA book, and it's about let me just read the back, and I'm probably going to butcher names, and I apologize for that. So, Omakayas and her family live on the land her people call the Island of the Golden-Breasted Woodpecker. Although the Chimbukaman white people encroach more and more on their land, life continues much as it always has. Every summer they build a new birch bark house. Every fall they go to ricing camp to harvest and feast. They move to the cedar log house before the first snows arrive and celebrate the end of the long, cold winters at maple sugaring camp. In between, Omakayas fights her annoying little brother Pinch, plays with the adorable baby Niwu, and tries to be grown up like her big sister Angeline. But the satisfying rhythms of their life are shattered when a visitor comes to their lodge one winter night, bringing with him an invisible enemy that will change things forever, but that will eventually lead Omakayas to discover her calling. So this, she writes about the, I'm not going to pronounce it. I need to see it to be able to pronounce it. The Ojibwas? Yes. So this is about the Ojibwa tribe. And so I picked this up, one, because I know she is a prolific Indigenous author, and two, I wanted to read, make sure I had some things that I could read during Native American Heritage Month. So, and then lastly, I picked up Killers. Oh, if you just heard that, my whole stack of books just went tumbling to the ground. So lastly, I picked up Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI by David Grann. And this is a novelized nonfiction book. And this is about, I'm going to just read the front flap. In the 1920s, the richest people per capita in the world were members of the Osage Indian Nation in Oklahoma. After oil was discovered beneath their land, they rode in chauffeured automobiles, built mansions, and sent their children to study in Europe. Then one by one, the Osage began to be killed off. The family of an Osage woman, Molly Burkhart, became a prime target. Her relatives were shot and poisoned, and it was just the beginning as more and more members of the tribe began to die under suspicious circumstances. This last remnant of the Wild West, where oil men such as J.P. Getty made their fortunes, and where desperados such as Al Spencer, the Phantom Terror, roamed, many of those who dared to investigate the killings were themselves murdered. As the death toll climbed to more than 24, the relatively new FBI took over. It was one of the organization's first major homicide cases, but the Bureau badly bungled the investigation. In desperation, the young director, J. Edgar Hoover, turned to a former Texas Ranger named Tom White to unravel the mystery. White put together an undercover team, including an American Indian agent in the Bureau. Together with the Osage, they began to expose one of the most chilling conspiracies in American history. So I thought, when I first heard of this book, I thought it was very intriguing. It's something that I just had no clue about, and so I wanted to read more about it. It's something that I've had in and out of my cart on half-price books numerous times. So I'm glad I found this at Goodwill because, again, it looks in brand new condition, and it was slightly over $2. So cheaper than I've got it at a Book of the Month. Did I say half-price book? Book of the Month. And I know, like, if I end up not liking this or DNFing this, my sister loves true crime stuff, so I know I could pass it on to her. Oh, and hopefully I could read this in November as well. Yeah, that is all. That is my haul. And I did say I want 6 months this year where I don't spend any money on books. So, didn't start off right in January, but I have 11 more months to go. So I can do this. I can do this. That being said, let me know in the comments below your thoughts on these books. Keep them spoiler free. What should I prioritize? And happy reading. And as always, please like and subscribe.